Let's rank every hero equipment from worst to best to make your heroes stronger. Starting with the F tier, we have the Archer Puppets. Easily the worst ability due to the Archer Puppets basically not contributing to anything. They will often trip bombs or force defenses to hit them, which in turn will hit the queen. The only thing that is going for them is the DPS increase, which is already getting outclassed by an equipment that just does its role better. Also within the F tier is the Barbarian Puppets. Similar to Archer Puppets, they just don't do much for the Barbarian King and will often just die right after being spawned. So there's really just a lot better options for the Barbarian King. Next is the C tier. These are niche options, but can still be quite good. Case in point, the Earthquake Boots. This ability is not bad since it can be used to open walls in your attack, especially if they're within the core. But of course, this is just going to get power crept by better options as it doesn't really provide anything for the king and his survivability. The Giant Arrow is moving from the A tier down into the C tier. The Giant Arrow is really not an amazing ability due to its lack of flexibility, as its only saving grace is to snipe off defenses like air defenses or sweepers, but also pairing it with a Zapquake. Other than this, there are just better options to keep your queen alive and let her get more value. Next is the B tier. These are hero equipment that are not insanely strong, but not insanely weak. Case in point, the Royal Gem. This is one of the Royal Champion's basic abilities, and while it's nice right now, it will get power crept in the near future. So, of course, it's just good to use right now as it provides a lot of survivability for the Royal Champion. Another one that is moving up to B tier from the F tier is the Life Gem. The Life Gem is also a good ability in multiple situations such as Lava Loon, Hybrid, or even Electro Dragons, and doesn't typically run into any issues. This is also really good if you are holding onto ores to upgrade for other future hero equipment, or if you have lower level equipment for the other abilities. The Vampstash is another good ability that is dropping from A tier down into the B tier. This is a pretty solid ability for the Barbarian King, and while it is not always used, it is quite good in some situations due to its healing every time your king attacks, and his hit speed being increased, which can be quite helpful. It's especially true if you are bringing rage spells and you're having the king dive into the core with the rest of your attack. The Healer Puppets are another ability that is going from the A tier down into the B tier. These puppets are quite good in most cases that aren't the queen charge, or if you do not have her new epic, and can often keep your queen alive and give her some nice healing, of course, while also giving her a lot more survivability. This pairs extremely well with other abilities, especially if you don't have access to the queen's new epic. Next, we move to the A tier. These are strong hero equipment that your heroes can use in certain situations, starting with the Rage Gem. The Rage Gem is still a very popular ability, and for good reason. It has a unique synergy with the Warden in Warden walks and can often be used in attacks where the Warden typically isn't used in, like Super Archer Blimps. With that said though, there are still stronger options than the Rage Gem. Another one that is staying in A tier is the Seeking Shield. This is a very basic ability for the Royal Champion, but is still a really solid option and kind of necessary for her. Her Seeking Shield already offers her a lot of DPS on 4 different targets, which makes it really good. It's almost irreplaceable on her. Also staying within the A tier is the Rage Vial. This ability is quite good for the Barbarian King in most situations, as it gives him a lot of DPS and a nice speed buff for him to work through. Pairing this with the Giant Gauntlet can do massive work on really any type of base. And one that is moving down from S tier is the Invisibility Vial. The Invisibility Vial is another very good ability in any situation due to it keeping your queen alive, increasing her survivability, and then of course doing big damage, which is really important. This can pair really well with any of her abilities and keep her on the map for longer so she can get the value that you need. Now we move to the S tier, the best of the best and the ones you will want to use on your heroes always, starting with the Healing Tome. The Healing Tome is still an often overlooked ability, but is showing why it is so strong. It's incredibly flexible, most of the time better than using the Rage Gem, as it honestly provides a lot more comfort and a lot more flexibility to different strategies than just using the Rage Gem for a 50% rage. Another ability staying within S tier is the Eternal Tome. The Eternal Tome is oftentimes the best for the Warden. It's pretty much the Warden's epic at this point, as it basically can make or break an attack. Invincibility will often go a long way for any attack, so pairing this with a long heal or even the Rage Gem can still provide a lot of fantastic value. The Giant Gauntlet is also staying within the S tier. The Giant Gauntlet is still incredibly busted. Whether it has the bug fix or not, it is still going to offer the king the most survivability, splash damage, and a nice damage increase. It's honestly still his best in slot and will forever be it, and is really good in any situation. Pairing this with the Rage Vial is honestly always going to be recommended for that increased damage and faster attacks. And our newest ability here, also within the S tier, is the Frozen Arrow. This is the new best ability currently for the Queen. This new equipment can slow down defenses, enemy heroes, or even enemy CC troops upwards up to 75%, while also giving the Queen a DPS increase without even needing the archer puppets, which is incredibly nice, and this is roughly the same as them or even greater. Otherwise, this is hands down her best in slot and is super flexible regardless of the strategy, since this is actually just a passive. And of course, here's your tier list. Make sure you get a screenshot with me in it. But if you are looking for a strong option for the Lunar New Year event, make sure you check out this video where we go through 3 of the best.